The latest UN projection indicates that India's population will exceed 1.8 billion by 2050. To put this in perspective, it would be equivalent to cramming the entire population of Africa into the Deccan Plateau. This is not a demographic dividend, but a ticking time bomb counting down to disaster. Uncontrolled mass population growth will become a source of colonization. Such rampant population expansion is creating a global crisis whose impact will transcend national borders and completely reshape the world order. India has long touted its demographic dividend, believing that its large youth population and vast market potential are assets. However, whether a country can convert its population into a dividend depends on three factors: its ability to create jobs, popularize basic education, and manage cities to maintain order. In all three areas, India is failing miserably. India's current population stands at approximately 1.425 billion, but what kind of situation are these 1.4 billion people in? In Mumbai's slums, 20 million people are squeezed into tin shacks without even access to toilets. Along the banks of the Ganges, 300 million people drink holy water contaminated with industrial wastewater and corpses. The country has 287 million illiterates, more than the entire population of the United States. These people are not a labor force, they are human bombs that could be ignited by extremist ideologies at any moment. India also has 450 million working-age people who are neither employed nor actively seeking jobs. This is especially true for women, whose labor force participation rate is only 25%. It is not that they do not want to work, but that society simply does not provide them with employment opportunities. India's annual population increase is equivalent to the entire population of New York City, yet its arable land area is shrinking at a rate of 1% per year. India needs to create 12 million new jobs every year, but in reality, only 4 million can be provided. What will happen to the remaining 8 million striving young people? The growing number of protests on the streets of New Delhi is the answer. If you really take a walk in Mumbai or New Delhi, the endless shanties and mudflats on the outskirts of those cities will tell you that population growth has long torn urban infrastructure to shreds. There are no sewers, drinking water is delivered by water trucks, garbage piles up like mountains, and the stench fills the city when the wind blows. This is not a city, but a broken sack burst by population pressure. India's per capita water resources are only 1/4 of the world's average. In many places, groundwater extraction has reached the limit. Farmers' annual harvests depend entirely on the monsoon. With excessive use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides, the land has long been overexploited and is on its last legs. It can still be cultivated on the surface, but in fact, it is a spent force. The Modi government is still dreaming of becoming the world's factory. Take a look at the factories in Bihar. 90% of workers cannot even understand safety regulations. How can such a labor force support modern industry? This is not about looking down on Indians, it is simply that they are not usable. Now, the world is engaged in automated intelligent manufacturing. A factory that originally required thousands of workers now needs only a few hundred. Machines work 24 hours a day without rest or slacking off. Who would want to deal with a large number of laborers who cannot even read? Hidden dangers in the social structure are also accumulating. The caste system is still lingering in a new form. Religious conflicts emerge from time to time. The gap between the rich and the poor is longer than the Ganges. If economic growth cannot keep up with population expansion, those frustrated young people can instantly become sparks that ignite the powder keg. The situation is even more severe externally. Once India can no longer hold on and loses control, when 1.8 billion Indians have drained the Ganges dry, where will they go? Southeast Asia, Africa, Europe, the Americas. History has taught us that when population pressure crosses the critical point, there are only two outcomes: internal chaos or external expansion. A country is vibrant when a large young population is a good thing, but this requires schools to educate them, factories to employ them, and cities to accommodate them. Without all these, a large population is not a dividend but a time bomb. India is preparing for two paths at the same time: on one hand, the 30-year-long Kashmir conflict; on the other hand, a frantic military buildup that has pushed its defense spending to the fourth highest in the world. When living space is compressed to the limit, any civilization will reveal its most ferocious face. The fanaticism of Hindu nationalism is pouring gasoline on this powder keg.